Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in here before we start the show to tell you a bit about this project that I'm really excited about called Sync. I'm one of the co-creators of this 5th edition sourcebook module, subclasses, magic item tattoos, dungeons. It's basically bringing together the worlds of American traditional tattoo art from Sam Rusk, an incredible tattoo artist within the TTRPG industry, and pirates. Who doesn't love pirates? What's awesome is that you can go to get.syncrpg.com right now to reserve a $1 pin called the Storm in a Bottle pin. It's this really cool pin of a ship in a bottle with a glittery, stormy background. Normally this thing would retail at right around $15, $20, and you can get it for $1 if you go forward with the Kickstarter campaign with your $1 pledge in this pre-launch campaign. So make sure you go to get.syncrpg.com right now to get your exclusive pin. I'm really excited about this Kickstarter in September, so I really hope you guys follow along, and let's get to the rest of the show.
And so I get the bottle of water and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to ask this guy's name. It is I just got to do this. And so I do the walk of shame across the lobby back to this guy, and I hand him the water, and I'm like, and could I get your name, please? And he's like, yeah, it's Keanu. That's Keanu. And I'm like,
he's probably so gracious about it.
He is, yeah. And I want to be dead then.
Welcome back to this weird energy of Athletics Check podcast. My name's Johnny Stanton IV, and to my left, the camera's right, is my co-host Travis Reeves. Say hi, Travis.
Hi, Travis.
We are here to talk about your former roommate and I think still friend, I think, Beth May.
Yeah.
Beth
May.
Known for her appearance, I guess more vocal appearance in the Dungeons and Daddies podcast, very popular D&D podcast I'm a big fan of. Before we got into the recording, I said I was going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
And might as well just come out with it right now. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite experience experiencing sports as a spectator with Beth? There during the interview we talked about a couple things. She's a big fan of women's national team soccer.
That's right.
She is she's a boxer. She's a marathon runner.
Yes.
We even had a little flag football little event that we did. I think we got into that in the episode. That was fun. That we got to put a little football camp for about an hour.
Yeah,
over in
I have that footage.
Irvine, California. That is some good footage. What is your favorite experience with Beth as as a fan of you being a fan of the Warriors or the Raiders or something like that?
Well, the first time we shot this intro, I stumbled around a bit.
Peek behind the curtain.
And I referenced the Dodger game that we had gone to. And then we talked about how boring that is. I'm
supposed to be putting you on the spot, Travis.
Well,
and now you realize I'm not putting you on the spot anymore.
Yeah, look,
that's okay.
I'm a paragon of honesty.
Nothing happened.
Same answer.
Same answer.
Which I found after a second, because I'm a good friend and definitely remembered it, which was we were all here as a household, and this wasn't a leading question. Johnny didn't know I was going to say this, but it was the Thursday night football game, 2021, Broncos-Browns, where Johnny Stanton scored his first NFL end zone touchdown. I know that's not the way you say it. I know that. I just want to keep... It was a flat to the fullback. I know what things are. No.
It was Spider 3 White Corner.
Okay.
So
okay. Now, this is something. Why?
Okay. So you ever watched the Gruden Quarterback Academy show that was on ESPN?
Yeah, he says spider a lot.
He said spider a lot. It was his
spider,
favorite. He always talked about
banana.
Exactly. It was always his favorite play.
He said a lot of things.
And we didn't get into this in the first intro, so I'm glad we're getting to be excited and explain something.
Okay,
Frank's off camera right now talking about this.
So take us in the mind of Stefanski.
Sure. Okay.
So spider, is that a Gruden concept?
No, it's not Gruden concept. It's just a long-time football concept. It's a very simple play.
Spiders.
So spider is shorthand for a play-action mesh.
Sure.
Basically. So we were in, I think, 22 personnel. I believe it was 22 personnel, which means 2 running backs and me being one of them, a fullback, and then 2 tight ends.
Got it.
So David Njoku was on the play. Not Nick Chubb. Nick was sick that game, so it was Dearness Johnson was behind me.
That's right, because that was the everybody was hurt.
Everybody was sick. Baker was sick or hurt. Baker was sick. Nick was sick, and then Andy Janovich was hurt.
That's right.
Who was the starter in front of me. So we were not favored to win this game, I don't believe. The Broncos were definitely having an off year and have been on off years since then. But it was... so one of our goal line package plays was Spider 3 Y corner. There was a couple Spider 3 plays. I think there were 2 that season, or that game. We ran it earlier in the game on a 3rd or 4th and short. I forget exactly what it was. Harrison Bryant caught it. But it was Spider 2. So 2 even numbers go to the right.
Sure.
If it's a 12, if it's an 18, those means the run is happening to the right. If it's 17, the 17 is usually a counter. 11,
other odd numbers.
Exactly. Other odd numbers. That usually is happening to the left.
Sure.
So Spider 2 means the fake is happening to the right, and then normally on a fake you'd either bootleg or open up.
Are you with us?
Yeah,
Are you with us?
I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling here, and I'll get this going.
Blink twice if you're still with us.
I'm sorry, I'm being a bad host right now. So it happened earlier in the game. I did not get the pass thrown to me.
Sure,
because I was covered.
Yeah.
We threw it. We run it again on 1st and goal from the 1.
Yes.
Case Keenum had just scrambled to the 1 yard line, and they call me out there, and they call Spider 3 Y corner.
And at this point,
I'm the number 1 option for this.
You're the first read.
Yes. So that means Case Keenum is faking to Dearness Johnson to the left. I'm supposed to be running at the either outside linebacker or defensive end, pretending like I'm about to run through him, try to block him.
Sure.
I give a little jab to the right, go outside of him to the flat, right in front of Patrick Surtain, who's now a Pro Bowler, but it was his rookie year. And I immediately know that I'm wide open. Because I feel myself run
wide open.
It wasn't by any help. I did nothing of this. This was all from the play action, the fake. And I caught the ball in the left part of the end zone, spiked the ball through the crust of the earth in front of the dog pound, and then literally had nightmares
Scientists
for weeks.
Still figuring out how that happened.
Yeah, literally had nightmares for weeks thinking about the possibility of what if I dropped it.
Oh my God!
Isn't that crazy?
Athletes are sick in the fucking head.
I had nightmares. Not it didn't key me up.
You know who else has nightmares like this?
Who's that?
Beth May.
That's old. Yeah. But yeah, no joke. I had a weird panic moments where I'm like, what if things went horribly wrong on that one play, and I just got excited and took my eye off of it, or my hands just weren't working or whatever, and I just dropped the ball on the 1 yard line. It probably wouldn't have affected the game. It was 1st and goal on the 1, or maybe 2nd goal on the 1.
Sure.
But it was my only NFL touchdown.
Yeah.
And if that didn't work out, I would have a lot less pride than I do now. Let's get off of that topic. But
the good news is we live in reality.
It's true.
Where it did happen, and the call was incredible.
The call was cool. The call was definitely cool. But yeah, I think that's very kind of you to say that your favorite moment of
we were losing our
was with
minds.
Beth.
We were yelling.
I know him. Woo!
That warms my heart.
I've never known anybody to score an NFL touchdown. I was like, holy shit, I got to watch it as it happened.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I appreciate that, Frank.
Yeah.
Let's get to the incredible Beth May interview. Hey, Beth, thanks for joining us on Athletics Check, the new show that I am doing that you're listening to right now.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. Sorry, I interrupted you right off the gate.
No. This is a conversation, and we're going to interrupt each other a lot.
That's great.
Because I'm a man and you're a woman on the
Yes,
internet.
yeah,
so
interrupt me as much as you see fit. And that happens all the time.
Of course.
So, yeah.
No, I mean, this is Athletics Check, where I talk to nerds and athletes about being an athlete or a nerd. You're a nerd who's an athlete. Is that correct? Would you consider yourself a nerd?
I think that's pretty mean.
I think nerd is absolutely I think it's been co-opted by nerd culture, as a positive. Because I don't think it's necessarily a insult anymore like it was in 1980s high school movies.
I think that's super fair. And because it's got a positive connotation now, I actually still wouldn't consider myself a nerd. I don't know enough to be a nerd. I guess
your job is playing Dungeons and Dragons on the internet.
Fair.
So
you know what? I'll give that to you. So sure, I'm a nerd.
Yeah. But you're an athlete as well. You're an athlete. I'm telling you, you are an athlete. I wouldn't have you on the show if you weren't.
I know, but I'm sitting next to a professional football player, and so in that context, when I think
It's
about
all
my
relative.
little games that I play,
It's all relative. It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
So you're known for Dungeons and Daddies. You're known for being an actor, a poet. You had your own one-woman show that just recently did amazing. Beth May Wants the D is what it's called, right?
Yeah, Beth Wants the D.
Beth Wants the D. But you're also, like, I think people know of you as an athlete, at least within that, like, Dungeons and Daddies crew. I think people probably talk about you being athletic more than anybody else, as far as I am concerned, because, like, you're a boxer, you ran a marathon.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about a little bit of this, because I want to hear about your boxing background.
Okay. So I boxed in college, not for the school, but just with the little like amateur league. Like,
what was your gym?
Gym was.
It's okay if you can't remember right now. College, it's I get it. College is a time.
Oh, what was it called? Because I boxed briefly here in Hawthorne, and I went to Sweet Science, and that was a great gym. Mm-hmm. And this other gym was great too, and I can't remember.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
The name of it. I feel so bad because it was owned by this husband and wife, and they were delightful and just so friendly and accepting. And
what got you into it in the first place?
I wanted to learn some element of self-defense, and I was living alone at the time, and I've always been somebody who's like, move it or lose it, as they say.
Sure.
So I wanted to stay in shape, and it just seemed like something that was really fun and empowering. And it was like the first time I sparred and got hit in the face. I hate to sound so positive about it, but it was like one of the like coolest moments ever, because in that moment, I kind of just realized that I could take it, you know, like that, like, the worst had happened and I was still okay. And then, I proceeded to get like completely pummeled and they had to like stop the spar afterward. But, it was just like, the idea of that, like, I don't know, that I could kind of face a fear like that and still be chill. I felt like a badass more than I deserved to. But
anybody who tries something like that, like 99% of the world has not tried that, which is it's impressive to even start it. But I'm surprised that, like, I think a lot of people have to go through certain iterations. Like, I've talked to people who, they started with one, martial art and then had to like switch into another one because like, it wasn't my thing, or tried to change gyms. Like, it wasn't like best boxing for you from the start.
Yeah, I did try Krav Maga once.
Okay.
And
because you want to kill people.
I tried it with my friend Ashley, and we got like a free like Groupon to go to this, and the guy was so mean that I almost cried, like, from the emotional pain rather than the physical pain. And I was like, yeah, that's not for me.
That's not the way to get people to come to your gym and go past the free membership. Yeah, he was just
like, he told me like, you suck, and I'm like, well, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
So
doesn't seem like a very good coach. But like you were saying, with like getting hit and it not feeling bad, like, obviously you don't want to be hit too many times. As a football player, I am well aware of that. But there is a certain kind of hit that you might take on a football field that feels not good, but kind of feels right. Kind of feels like, okay, I took that and I took it correctly, and I took it to a point where I'm not feeling any kind of repercussions, or like I didn't have my bell rung or anything like that. It was just a good solid hit. It's the kind of hit that you kind of like say like, hey, nice hit to the other guy for.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I don't know if that's anything like what you felt.
Well, yeah, it's like, and I grew up playing sports, but I always kind of was a little bit of a quitter when things got tough, I guess. And so I think, like I've never been in good cardio shape because of that, because that last 50 meters is like too much for me and stuff like that. So I think it was more of a symbol of like, okay, things got tough just now and I still kind of was able to survive it. So that said, the cardio in boxing was a little too much for me as well.
It would be way too much for me. Like, there's such a, I think boxing is a really good example of a aerobic and an anaerobic sport, because you have these like 3-minute rounds, right? And you just going for 3 minutes straight, something athletic like that as a football player, somebody who goes like at most 10 seconds at a time before you need to get ready for the next, exertion. That's a lot. That's way more than what I'm used to. And that's so much more aerobic than what I'm used to, which is anaerobic like workouts. But at the same time in boxing, you're going to go through periods where you're just trying to explode into and like take advantage of the opportunity that you saw in opening. And it's a great example of just like the combination of having two different types of cardio like fitness. That's not something that I'm used to.
Yeah, it also seemed like the right sport for like my mind, because it's kind of like I wouldn't call it chess, but definitely like there's a checkers element to at least the way I box. Maybe you watch some other more beautiful boxers, they have a chess like element to the way they approach things, the way they finish around and stuff like that. But for me, it was just the right thing that exercised my body and my brain at the same time. It didn't get too mathy, as I call it. I like when I was in middle school, they had like 4 quarters, and I would try a different sport every quarter, and I'd be like, okay at all of them except for softball, because softball was a little too mathy for me or something. There was just something about knowing where to
how many strikes and how many balls do you need to have?
Counting just isn't my thing. Well, I just never knew who to throw it to. Once I got the ball, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like you just have bad coaches.
No, I had some good coaches. Yeah, I mean, but there's just some things I just wasn't meant to do. Good to know that.
Yeah, but the first time I tried ice skating, I got a concussion and had short-term memory loss. So it's like, okay, maybe I'm not meant to be on ice.
And were you like?
I was like 6 years old or 7 years old or something.
No.
Yeah. Was at a friend's birthday party. Do you remember Pickwick? This is a very LA thing, like Pickwick Ice Center.
I'm a transplant.
That's right. You are a transplant. That's right. You're from Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm from Tucson.
Yeah, Tucson. I apologize. From what I hear, you're a big Tucson Roadrunners fan.
I do love the Tucson Roadrunners. Tucson Roadrunners is the minor league hockey team. If you don't know, in Tucson,
I think everybody knows that, obviously.
Yeah, of course. They feed into the Coyotes, and they have this.
I think I've heard a little bit of the story, and I'm really excited to hear it from you.
So, the Roadrunners have this theme song that plays at the beginning, or it used to play at the beginning of all their games. And I tried to find it on YouTube last night, actually, and I couldn't find it. They took it down because it was a little too racist. But the theme
just
song,
a little too racist for YouTube, which is a high bar.
truly,
or a low bar.
The theme song was like, and they had a music video to this and everything, and some local band was playing it, but it was like, get on the bus, go back to where you came from. And it was just like, in Tucson especially, that's so bad to say. Yeah,
I mean, it is Arizona, so like, you'd have to expect a little bit of that, but it's...
Yeah, but I guess the meaning is telling the other team to
obviously
go
outside
home.
of the current political context, it's like, it's very much like, hey, get hit the road, Jack kind of feeling,
Yeah, but so now every time I'm back in town, my best friend from high school, their parents have season tickets, and they'll just send me a text that's like, do you want to get on the bus? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm in.
I love how you guys have a little inside joke for like you've been to that many games.
Yeah, I've got Roadrunners mugs, Roadrunners headbands,
all the whole
yeah.
What other like teams are you a fan of? I know that you're a big women's national team fan.
Yeah, I love women's national team. And then Angel City. And then I was also rooting a little bit for OL Reign, because Rose Lavelle is my favorite soccer player, and but she just transferred to Gotham. Yeah, so good for her. What other teams? I'm so somebody who's like a traitor, and I just get caught up in the moment. If I see like an underdog or something that I want to root for, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll root for this team.
I mean, you can't be
a little team called the LA Lakers,
those underdogs.
Underdogs. Scrappy.
I mean, you have to. It's very easy to root for like the local team first off, but it's also like if you're gonna watch a game, you're gonna find yourself pulling for one team or another, and I think I'm probably right there with you. If I see one team as an underdog, I'll probably start leaning towards them.
Yeah, what was so cool about, if you don't know, we're recording in the house that I used to live in, and so what was so cool about living here was that everybody had their teams that they rooted for, and so it was cool to be like brought in on like the Warriors when they were at their peak and stuff that,
or the Bears when they were at their peak, at their peak in the 30 years ago.
Yeah, because and I moved around a lot as a kid because my dad was in the Navy, so we always had like a team that I could say that I've lived there briefly or something. Except I was born in Jacksonville. The Jaguars have. Yeah. It's been a while since they've been.
They are on a little bit of an upswing, especially with Trevor Lawrence as their quarterback.
You know what? Good for them.
Yeah. So if you need a team, right now is the good time to get on the Jaguars.
Place of my home, my birthplace.
So it's been Florida, Arizona, and California?
Florida, Virginia, Alabama, California, and Arizona, yeah.
So moving around just for family?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, you also ran a marathon.
I did.
In the middle of COVID, or like the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, it was December 2020 I ran that marathon.
Yeah. And so did you plan to do it? Like, was it going to happen? And when did you sign up for it? Was it going to happen in person? And they're like, COVID's just like too much right now. We just got to shut it down.
What happened was, I decided to run it in like, I think May, June, it's like summer of 2020. I had been like, I need to do something with my life. And I
think a lot of us were feeling that at the exact moment.
Exactly, yeah. And I was really enjoying running, even though I really suck at it. I don't have good form, and I not a big cardio person, but it was such a cool way to. So, like I have some ADHD, like, everybody does apparently now, but running was a cool way. I often feel like I'm standing still wading in a river of thoughts, right?
Sure.
And so running was a way to make those thoughts seem like kind of linear for the first time. So it was just a really like calming thing for me during a really uncertain time. And I was like, well, if I have a goal with this, then I think I could just really push myself and get through this year. And so I was like, what if I freaking run a marathon? And
were you a runner before you signed up for this?
No, I mean, I would do like the turkey trot 5K or something like that. And I would do occasional 5Ks.
But you wouldn't like wake up in the morning and say, okay, my workout today is going to be running 2 miles, 3 miles.
I would probably run, before I decided to do the marathon, I would probably run like twice a week at 3 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I can't even imagine doing that because I'm so like, I don't know if or when I do end up like actually getting into running, like long distance running to stay in shape, because it's a very efficient way of like staying in shape and stuff. But for now, while I'm still training at football, it's such a different form of exercise that I just do not experience at all. It's very much like fast exertion, rest, as opposed to like long periods of like low exertion.
That's cool. That's like fascinating to me because I like literally have no idea what the practice lifestyle of a football player is. I just assume that you're just like running laps or something.
It's even weirder when you don't have a job in football because it's like nobody's telling me to do this. Nobody's like I'm accountable myself to continue training without any kind of end in sight or goal in sight until
that must be really
you're just
trippy.
like, okay, maybe it's just time that I'm done. And, I'm still kind of bordering on that, like, okay, I kind of have an end in sight of like, okay, if I don't have a job by this point, I'm probably done. But, who knows? Like, I don't want to lose out on an opportunity. Everybody I talk to says, yeah, continue as long as you can, because once it's done, it's done,
Damn.
But yeah, I mean,
that's such a wild place to be in. But I think you've like really, I don't know. I'm kind of in awe of the way you've taken this in stride and just like persevered.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been trying, but it's an interesting way of like continuing to have this be part of like what I love, which is sports, but also bringing in the other side of what I love, which is like the whole nerdy side, Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't know, all the other nerdy stuff I like, Pokemon and all that stuff. But like, actually, something I completely forgot to do at the very beginning, which was ask you a very specific question. I'll give you a little bit of a lead up to it, which is, this show is trying to merge the worlds of nerddom and athletics and working out, sports, and it's so much more similar than what a lot of people think. But there's been this barrier that is like separated the two, like ever since the last 100 years. It's like jocks versus nerds or whatever, and it's like this false binary where so many more of these people, especially the people that I know and I kind of magnetize myself towards, are people who are way more multifaceted people than that. And I think that there's a good mixture that you can have, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, whatever. But what would you say your ratio from jock to nerd is? And obviously it's a simple oversimplification of it, but what would you say jock to nerd is your percentage?
With the caveat that I'm not very good at either thing, I would say it's probably 60% nerd, 40% athletic person.
You don't consider yourself a jock at all?
Well, no, I'm mean like a jock. So I'm a bully, so there's that.
I think the whole term jock. I think like I'm probably the person who's used the word jock more than anybody in the past like 3 months or whatever, just because it's like not a word that people really use to describe themselves or like a whole lot of other people. It's kind of like a negative connotation a little bit.
Yeah,
kind
you got strap, itch, like all kinds of jock things. Yeah.
But it's I think that jock can at some point get co-opted like nerd has by the people who are it. But it kind of encapsulates, at least in my mind, athletes, like sports personalities, people who just enjoy sports in general.
Yeah, I mean, I love sports. Like I love like nerding out about movies and stuff like that. So it's just like, yeah, I think 60-40 sounds a little fair. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Back to the marathon.
Yes.
So I had signed up originally for, I think it was a Seattle marathon, because I hopped back on Facebook, even though I hadn't had like an active Facebook account in years, and there was this group that was dedicated to finding marathons that had not been canceled by COVID.
Oh wow.
And so in hindsight, a little bit of a like, maybe not my kind of crowd of people.
Sure,
maybe I should have been more cautious. There was a reason after all these marathons were canceled. Yeah. So the first marathon I signed up for was in Seattle on November something. And then I was training for the marathon, and I got an email that marathon had been canceled. And so I signed up for the Tucson Marathon, actually, which was wild. It was like one of the only marathons still happening, and it was December 3rd. And I remember waking up, I think it was about exactly a week before, and that marathon had been canceled as well.
Was there any marathons that happened that year, or at least that part of the year?
I don't know. You
probably would have found it.
I probably would have found it because this whole group was like tracking down these marathons and these runs that were still happening. And I during the pandemic, I was playing a lot of golf with my friends Freddie and Matt, and we were like golfing that day, and I just start crying because I'm like, I've been training for this marathon and it got canceled, and now I don't know what to do. I think I'm just gonna like run it myself, and like I hope I don't get choked up talking about this, but like Freddie was like, well, you know what? We'll film it and we'll make it its own thing, and it'll be just like you doing the marathon by yourself, and you'll have proof of that, even though nobody else will be running it. And and so that's when I came up with.
It meant a lot to people like who are fans of the show, and be able to see you work for this.
Well, I kind of like pivoted to like, okay, and I'll make it a charity event too. And so I started raising money, and I was like, I'm just gonna run it myself. And so like that day, it was like December 3rd, I think, 2020. I got up and like a lot of my friends were out supporting me, and I had some friends at the starting line, and then I had some friends at the finish line. I finished on the beach, And
Awesome.
Freddie and Matt made a little documentary about it and stuff like that, and it just meant like the world to me. It's because it was still at a time where we were all wearing masks outside and stuff, and it was just like it was a very uncertain time. And
I'm sure the only thing you wanted to do was kind of like just run into the arms of everybody around you, but like that was probably wasn't necessarily something you could do either.
Even in the video I saw, because I can't even remember like the very end of it, but even the video, it's just me like lowering my mask, thank you, and then putting my mask back up and not hugging anybody. But I felt very hugged and held in that moment with everybody coming out to support me and stuff like that. I remember like my friend Romy drove me home with a bunch of everybody who lived in the house, and we ate like Mediterranean food, and I fell asleep at like 7 p.m. It was a great, I'll remember that forever. It was just like, because for the whole thing to feel like such a solo journey, and then to realize that it was just like, it was about everybody else too, it meant a lot to me. Yeah,
I bet it did. Do you still run now?
Yeah, I'm actually signed up for a half marathon.
Amazing.
In March, and the other part of the marathon wrecked my body. Like my knees were fucked. And
how long did it take you to like start running again after that?
I started up the next week. I didn't want to lose but it was like I did like 4 miles like a couple days after my marathon, and it was hard.
Easy? Oh, it was hard.
Yeah. But
now you can officially, after you're done with this half marathon, you've earned the 13.1 sticker as well as the 26.2 sticker that you can put on the back of your car.
Classic. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants the stickers on the back of their car.
The one thing I've noticed, even more so than the sticker, is, and I have no idea if you are interested in getting in this world, but in case you want to even go past the sticker, Ironmen, like the people who do Ironman like challenges, the triathlon, where it's like ends up doing like finishing off with a marathon, which is absolutely insane to me. But I remember I went to a wedding in summer of 2021 up in Idaho, and it turned out to be the same weekend that the Coeur d'Alene Ironman was happening. And there were so many triathletes there, and triathletes love calf tattoos.
Okay.
They love putting the Ironman logo or like the triathlon, like, swimming, biking, running like logos on their calves, and like I guess that's what they're most proud of. I mean, if you're a runner, like
I guess that's
gotta have good calves.
That's why I'm always a little bit, not to be a complete hater, but I am a little confused when I only see the 13.1 tattoos or the stickers. I'm like
is that better or worse than the 0.0 stickers that you see people making fun of?
I like that. I'm all about the 0.0 sticker. I live my life at 0.0, so
I'm right there with
but
you.
when I just like, if I see multiple stickers and I see the 26.2 and the 13.1, I'm also like, why is the 13.1 there?
Yeah.
But when I see only the 13.1, I'm just like, well, you could,
I mean, you've earned the 26.2 if you want to throw that on your car, but might as well get the 13.1 at some point.
I should, yeah. I'll just get the 13.1 tattooed, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Hero Forge Custom Miniatures. Hero Forge is a free-to-use online character design application. That basically means if you want to play a TTRPG and you want to have a 3D printed miniature of your character, Hero Forge is the place to go. You can print them at home, you can print them there, and they will ship them to you. They are always incredibly crafted and designed, and the print process is so exact. It's really impressive. Every time I get to see one of these miniatures, their character design and customization is second to none. You get to 3D model your mini right there on screen, and you can see it as it real time. Updates to any kind of customization you want. Their facial customization is super impressive. Make sure that you go to heroforge.com to design your custom miniature today, and always check back regularly because they always come back with the coolest updates. They have new content every week, whether it's a new piece of clothing, a new race, whatever you can imagine, you can make it on heroforge.com. So go to heroforge.com today to start designing your own custom miniature. What's up, guys? It's Johnny again. I just wanted to thank you for listening and to encourage you to join our Patreon at patreon.com/athletics-check-pod. You'll have access to all of the little mini adventures that I run for each and every guest. This is about 10 to 15 minutes where I run them through a short TTRPG adventure. And for a lot of these people, especially the athletes, it's their first time running a game like this. So it's my honor to get to be their very first game master. And one of the best parts about being a paid member of the Athletics Check Podcast Patreon is that you get a chance of having your name shouted out in the middle of an episode. People like Andy Chang, Camilla, Francis Xavier Lally, John Guillaume, Jamie Bellin, Will, Zachary Loradich, Ladarius Smith, and Daniel Siuba. Thank you so much for being paid members. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Let's get back to the action. Well, let's talk a little bit about the women's national team, because you were, like, last year during the World Cup, you were living and dying by that team.
I really was. And I made Vladko my personal enemy, it felt like, but a lot of us did. I felt like, so I'm excited with Emma to see how she does.
Yeah, and there was a lot that happened with that World Cup, especially the stuff that happened after with the Spanish team who won.
There was a full-on reckoning. Yeah,
and there's a Netflix documentary or something going on now.
I haven't watched it.
I've heard good things. I've heard. Yeah. Especially with how many women's soccer players. I just texted you last week that I worked out very nearby Alex Morgan, which was cool for us as just specialists who are working out on the field, and just see one of the greatest athletes of all time just on the same field as us. Was wild.
And then for Pino to tear Achilles going out the last game, that was so rough, and she seemed to take it in stride if she could, but I can't imagine what that must be like. So that's rough.
You mentioned at some point, maybe you didn't, but I think before the show we were talking about rec league volleyball.
Yes.
Is something that, and pickleball and soccer are the things that you said you've been kind of diving into. Can you tell me a little bit about just working out and having fun with that? Because that's something that I'm really, really excited to do once I'm completely done with football.
Oh, nice.
Because I don't want to risk injury or anything.
Yeah.
But recently I did fill in as a sub for my sister's rec league softball game.
Oh my
and I
gosh.
had the best time ever. And I asked my wife last night, what rec league sports do you think I would do? Because she said softball. I'm a horrible soccer player. Softball, and she said she couldn't see me playing basketball because she couldn't find it. I don't know, maybe this will get some listeners mad, but she didn't find it possible to take adult basketball rec league seriously, which is I know.
Okay.
Which is why I feel that's the most popular rec league sport. But pickleball is probably getting up there now.
Pickleball is everybody says the fastest growing sport in America. Man, pickleball people are so serious.
Yes. My favorite thing about pickleball is that there's a rule based on where Seattle is in relation to what direction the court is.
Yeah, you gotta start on the north side. Yeah.
You gotta start where the closest side of the court that's to Seattle, because that's where the sport originated.
So I'd gone through my period of working out by myself and doing all the right things to avoid injury. I'm a pretty injury prone body person.
Right there with you.
And so I feel like I was doing more workouts to prevent injury, which was really good for me, but it kind of got me a little lonely looking for some team sports. And so my friend Grant started this volleyball league where we play right next to the Santa Monica Pier, and it is a blast. And I played volleyball for 1 week in middle school, and I sucked at it, but I was able to, and I'm not good at it, but it's just a blast.
Sports. The point isn't to be good.
Yeah,
it's to have a great time with your friends.
Yeah, and it is so much fun, and we play a few times a week, and it's great. And then I recently picked up pickleball as well, and I love it. It is addictive, and
it really is.
Again, it's just the community aspect of these sports. And then I'm technically on a rec league soccer team that I have to very sparingly go to because it wrecks me every time I try to keep up with 20-year-olds. So
we almost did a flag football league, and then none of us did.
Oh, yeah.
I did. So, yes, that is something we need to talk about, because what was it? I think at this point, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago in January, you said?
It was my birthday.
Yeah.
My 30th birthday was when we did that thing.
Yeah, so we ended up going, you guys came all the way out to Irvine, which is an hour and a half drive for you guys to come out, and we just worked out on Great Park and just threw the ball around, and we played a little bit of flag football. It's so
that was
great.
So much fun.
Yeah, that's when we learned that you have great hands to catch the ball.
Yeah. Classic.
And I'm really disappointed to hear that you guys didn't end up playing flag football.
If one of
I
us...
bought cones for that.
I know. If one of us had, the rest would follow, I think.
What?
But...
Not to shout over into the microphones. What had happened was Frank accidentally signed up for the wrong...
Oh.
And then you two took it as a sign to, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And I also Frank and I were playing catch because we're going to get good at football. My other sign was I threw a dart that veered left and cracked my driver's side rearview mirror.
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
right.
I probably shouldn't do this.
But
I did get those sticky gloves though. I had no idea about the sticky gloves.
I gave you gloves, didn't I? Was that me?
You?
I forget. I feel like I must have given a pair of gloves or something. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm trying to make myself look good.
I bought them, but we'll
you
say
probably did.
yeah,
you probably
but
did.
because I got tiny little hands, but and then I was like, oh man, I can catch anything. I was just walking around wearing those gloves for a while.
I remember.
I was just picking up the mug in the morning, yes.
I mean, it's such a huge advantage to have something that just grips so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember setting up the flag tackling drill with you guys and trying to see you guys juke out. And then I decided, you know what, I need to make myself feel good and trying to juke out Frank.
And just wrecked Frank.
Terrifying. It's like a freight train.
Yeah.
Insane.
I will say the last time that I actually played, it's really, really, really sad to say, but the last time I played football competitively was playing in a adult, just not even rec league. It was just a pickup game that my cousin invited me to in this suburb area. It was all dads. It was in the fall. It was on it was on a Sunday morning, and he just hey, do you want to come play flag football with us? And I'm like, okay, as long as I'm playing all-time quarterback because I don't want to get hurt. And of course, I ended up taking it way too seriously and try to start scrambling and juking people out. And I woke up the next morning so goddamn sore.
Oh no!
Just my feet, my calves, my hips were just all ruined.
It was so good that you took us to play football that night because I think like many people, I have watched TV and seen somebody maybe drop a pass or something and been like, I could do that. I could have gotten that.
It's your job. You have one job.
And then to realize that maybe I couldn't.
It's a little tough. It is tough.
So that was a nice eye-opener for me.
Well, I had a great time. If you ever want to get back on the field, just let me know.
Nice,
I will toss the ball around whenever you like.
Toss the old pigskin around.
Hell yeah. I was asked to bring up the Keanu Reeves popcorn story.
Oh,
and I don't even know if this has anything to do with nerddom or sports, but I just want to hear you tell a story.
Okay, yeah. I've told this story a few times, so I apologize if you're listening to this and you've already heard it and you're like, shut the fuck up with the popcorn story. But so I was working at a development company, and several celebs coming in, for general meetings and stuff like that. And so I was just an assistant, and I was actually covering the front desk that day. Real front desk lady had to do something else, I guess. So I was on the front desk, and important context for the story is that I was a little younger, maybe a little less wise than I am now. And so I'm sitting at the front desk, and Keanu Reeves comes in, and he's wearing a beanie, and he's got a motorcycle helmet, a motorcycle jacket. It looks cool as hell. And he says, hi, I have a meeting with, let's say, John. And I was like, cool. I'll call his assistant and let him know that you're here. And so,
are you dying inside at this point? Are you excited?
I'm starstruck. I'm definitely starstruck.
Right.
I still get starstruck really easily.
I mean, it's Keanu Reeves. I feel like anybody
would. So I call up to, let's say,
Barbara.
No, it was a man. So
oh my God.
I call up to
I just learned learning something about myself. I'm sorry.
I call up to a man named Barbara who's John's assistant.
I didn't know that I met a man.
Yeah, my problem. But I call up to John's assistant, and I'm like, hey, John's 3:00 is here. And then his assistant is like, who is it? And I'm like, so right then red flags are going off, because it's like, if you have a celebrity coming in, your assistant normally knows that it's like a VIP coming in and like is well aware of the meeting and
waiting for the call from the front desk.
Yes. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like,
Mr. Reeves or something like that? Or?
Well, no, I just like realized with horror, I'm like, this isn't Keanu Reeves. This is somebody who looks like Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
And so I was like, fuck. But I didn't ask the guy's name when he came in because I thought it was Keanu Reeves and I didn't want to disrespect him by asking his name.
Okay.
So I'm like, Barbara, I'm going to call you back. And so I hang up the phone and I'm like, what is my move? I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the kitchen and use the phone there where Keanu Reeves lookalike can't hear me to tell Barbara the situation.
Okay.
That it looks like Keanu Reeves, but I don't think it is because clearly this is a meeting with somebody else. And so I asked the Keanu lookalike, like, hey, can I get you a water? And he's like, thank God. He's like, sure. Because otherwise I would have been like, well, I'm going to go get one. So he's like, sure, I'll take a bottle of water. And I'm like, I go to the kitchen, pick up the kitchen phone, call Barbara right back. No answer.
Oh my God.
I'm fucked. And so I like get the bottle of water and I'm like, well, I'm going to have to ask this guy's name. It is like, fuck it. I just got to do this. And so I do the walk of shame across the lobby back to this guy and I hand him the water and I'm like, and could I get your name, please? And he's like, yeah, it's Keanu. That's Keanu. And I'm like,
he's probably so gracious about it.
He is. And I want to be dead then. And so then I go behind the desk, pick up the phone one more time, call Barbara. She answers this time.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, it's Keanu Reeves. And she's like, oh, yeah, John's got to meet. Yeah, of course.
Barbara's the villain of the story.
And so John, the exec that Keanu is meeting with, takes forever to come down and meet Keanu. And so Keanu and I are just standing, or like, sitting there.
I was going to say, did he get to take a seat or anything like that?
He was sitting down. Yeah, he was sitting down. And we're just like, sitting there in silence and I feel like my lungs are crushed. I'm so embarrassed. I just can't even breathe. And finally I'm kind of realizing how funny this is. I need to salvage this in some capacity. And so I kind of meekly am like, so do you read any good books lately?
Just obviously trying to dig yourself out of this hole.
Or no, I said any big weekend plans is what I said.
That's great.
Because it was a Friday.
That's so good. That's so good. And who doesn't want to talk about their weekend plans?
And he was like, I'm just going to be reading. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And he's like, you read? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, mostly I watch Netflix. And then he's like, do you watch popcorn? Do you eat popcorn while you watch Netflix?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, yeah. Sometimes. It's not as good as movie theater popcorn though, or something. I said. He's like, I've got a great popcorn recipe.
Oh, nice.
And then he tells it to me, his popcorn recipe, but I'm just staring at him. I'm just like, Keanu Reeves is giving me his popcorn recipe. And I'm not consuming any of the information. Yeah. And so
he's like, you should write this down.
Well, so after he's finished, he finishes with this he's like, the most important part is you got to listen for the pop, 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 pop. It's got to sound just like that. And when it goes any slower, it's too late or it's too much or something.
You burnt it, yeah.
Yeah. And so he finishes and I'm like, oh, I should have written that down. And then he gives me this kind of genuinely hurt look and he's like, you didn't?
Oh no.
And so then I grab a pen and he repeats it. And
how long of a description was that?
It's a pretty long description.
3 minutes?
It felt pretty long. It was probably 30 seconds. He repeats it and I pretend to write something down. But I can't actually make my brain work to like remember what he's saying. And so I'm like, yep, got it. And he's like, just listen for that pop, pop, pop. Finally, John comes down and gets Keanu and takes him to his meeting, and they're gone for about an hour. And I'm like closing up shop in the lobby and everything, getting ready to go home for the weekend and stuff like that. And then Keanu finally comes down. And I'm like, have a good weekend. And he puts the hand on the desk and he's like, remember, you got to listen for that.
Oh, I love him so much more now.
Yeah, class act of a dude. Yeah.
I appreciate that story very much now. That's all I'm going to think about when I think about Keanu. The last thing, before we wrap up, and I want to say thank you for being on the show. I want to play a little bit of a game. It's going to be limited, but I do like to ask my friends who are in TTRPGs, D&D, known for playing D&D and have iconic characters. What do you think? What sports position do you feel like your characters would play if they were an athlete? And in Dungeons and Daddies, you've had a couple opportunities to be able to translate your characters into sports. Like Anthony's done a great job of like kind of translating the sport into the game. But it's a very hard thing that people have tried to actually translate actual football or actual soccer into sports. But Scary is known for playing soccer.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, maybe outside of soccer, Scary Marlowe being one of your iconic characters, along with Ron Stampler, if you were to if Scary was a two-sport athlete outside of soccer, forward, I think left striker or something is what you said in the past. What position would Scary play? And then if whether it's soccer or something else, what position would Ron Stampler be if he was a professional athlete?
Okay. I think the other sport that Scary would play would be like bowling.
Okay.
Just because of the violence of it all.
Just a little bit of like, taking out your anger on the pins down the alley.
Yeah, and I think Ron would be like a baseball pitcher.
Okay.
But like would have like communication issues with the catcher, like like they're like fastball foul, and Ron would just be like,
yeah, okay, shaking,
and then just like
turning down
every
call.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see Ron for sure being a relief pitcher because they put the relief pitchers out in the dugout, and the dugout, it's not the dugout, but the bullpen, and the bullpen is. I've never been a pitcher when I played baseball. I grew up playing baseball, and from what I understand, pitchers are the offensive line of the baseball world, in which they're the weirdos, because anybody who has played football or baseball knows that like there's just a position group that's just a bunch of weirdos, and that's what offensive line really is in football. And I think the bullpen, the relief pitchers are a bunch of weirdos, and I think Ron's a lovable weirdo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can totally see him as a closer or mid inning relief pitcher for sure. Beth, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
There's a couple of things before we wrap up. First off, I would love for you to tell us anything you'd like to plug. What are you working on right now?
I'm working on. Yeah, I'm not really working on anything right now.
You got Dungeons and Daddies.
Yeah.
Anybody who listens to this and not Dungeons and Daddies is crazy.
I'm on Dungeons and Daddies, which is a show I'm super proud to be a part of, and I love it, and I think it's funny. So check it out if you want to. I'm on Instagram and Twitter still. My handle is Hey Beth May. That's like hey, like you're saying hi. Beth, like my first name. May, like the month. I just released my one woman show that I did. I just released on video on demand. And so if you check out my socials, you'll find a link to rent or buy that if you so desire. I was super happy with how it all came together. Super proud of it. I have no words. The people involved were just amazing, and so I know it sounds like it's like a one-woman show, so I'm the one involved, but it took a team.
You needed a big supporting crew.
Yeah, it definitely took a team. So that's out, and this is kind of niche, but. So if you do listen to Dungeons and Daddies and you like it, maybe consider supporting on our Patreon, because we just did an album, like a rock album, as my season 2 character, Scary Marlowe, and it's like Freddie and Maxton, our composer, did such baller work on this. Like it came together so it's like something I would just listen to. Yeah. It's like it's so killer. So yeah, that's on our Patreon, and I was so scared. I thought you were gonna ask me like quiz questions.
That's not what the show is about.
About football.
I'm not trying to gatekeep sports or gatekeep nerddom. That's the whole the antithesis of this show is to keep it separate. I want to bring people together, and I don't think like if you want to voluntarily go into a quiz show,
I'm like trying to watch the Johnny Manziel documentary last night. I'm like,
we'll talk about that after. Don't worry, we'll talk about that after. We're gonna have you do a couple roles as we finish this up. Again, Thank you so much for being on the show. First off, as one of my first guests, which I thank you very much for taking the chance on being on the show for, I want to put your number into the rafters and retire your number. So if you could, I have a set of dice here, and I'm going to ask you to roll a D100.
Okay.
And that's going to be your jersey number that no one else can take part in.
Yay, that's so cool.
We're going to have you have your name and number etched into the annals of history here. So if you could roll this D100, 2D10 for me.
All right.
We can lean forward a little bit towards this table. Don't knock over that lamp.
I'll try not to.
44.
44.
That's a good number right there. 4 is my favorite number. I'm the fourth,
wow.
and I wore number 4 in high school, college. 44.
That's where it's
I love
at.
it. So your number's retired. Nobody can ever touch 44 again in terms of the athletics check world. And the last thing I'd like to do is the show is called Athletics Check. I'm going to ask you to roll me an athletics check as we wrap up.
Okay.
So I'll give you a D20. What do you think your modifier is? What would you say?
I think my modifier is +2.
I'll take it. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. Beth May, what's your athletics check?
All right.
13. 11 plus 2, 13.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
That's a good roll right there. I think that's a success.
Solid roll.
Beth, you've been awesome. I really appreciate you. If you are a Patreon subscriber, please make sure that you continue listening because we're going to run Beth through a little bit of a D&D adventure. It's going to be like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Won't be too much. Don't be too stressed out. You're a professional, so I should be the stressed out one. And if you're not a Patreon subscriber, please consider subscribing. But for all of you listening at home, thank you so much for listening. And don't forget, roll me an athletics check. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to rate it and leave us a review. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else podcasts can be found. Don't forget, we do have a Patreon in which we talk to each of our guests about playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I run them a little adventure. I hope you guys do enjoy that if you are a Patreon subscriber. Audio editing and music by the incredible co-host Travis Reeves. Video production and editing by Frank Janish. And I'm your host, Johnny Stanton IV. To find out more about what I do, check out my website, stantoniv.com. This has been an effing funny production. We'll catch you next time, but until then, can you roll me an athletics check?